Hello, everyone. This is Liz Nicholls, and I have the incredible honor tonight of interviewing Michelle Nedelec of Awareness Strategies and Success Therapy. Tonight, I want to talk to her a little bit about her #1 best-selling book. That's fabulous. I've been reading it already. And I also want to talk to her about Success Therapy, which she is the founder and creator of this incredible process called Success Therapy. So, hey, Michelle, thanks for taking the time out to chat with me tonight. How are you?
Hi, Liz. I'm doing awesome. Thank you. And thank you for having me. It's
Oh,
awesome and fantastic to be able to meet with you. So I love it. Thank you.
You're the best, right? So you know what? The book is really, really good. So I was wondering if you could tell everybody a little bit about the book, because it's gone #1 best-selling already, and it just launched the other day. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, yes, it is all about, it's for entrepreneurs. Let me just back up a bit. And what it does is help you to understand what's going on for you internally in the mindset realm of things and how to elevate yourself into a business owner mindset, as opposed to just running your own company and doing your own thing and hoping that it all works out. So that's the premise of the book.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's really good. I've been reading on it. And so where can everybody buy this book? Where's the best place for them to go? What's your website? And
well, they can actually go onto Amazon.com right now or .ca and get the book. I'm in the process of making it a Kindle book as well. So if you're interested in Kindle, you can do that as well. I like the paper ones because I get to mark them up, and it is a little bit of a workbook when you get near the end. So it goes through a bunch of content and allowing you to see things differently in how you perceive business ownership and what it really means, that it's not just about going out and replacing a job and that you don't have to have a boss anymore, that you get to be the boss and you get to be in charge of your own time freedom, but to actually understand how to create real freedom, which means running a business that runs without you, and not only the tactics that are involved in that, or even strategy that's involved in that, but really getting into why you want to run a business of that elevation, why you came onto the little blue planet in the first place, and what it really means to you as far as personal evolution goes, to be able to put yourself in that kind of a position, put yourself out there, and what are the rewards exactly for the risks that are being taken to be able to do that, and understanding how to mitigate those risks so that you're not just doing things foolishly like jumping off of cliffs, that you're actually putting things in place in order for you to become a bigger, stronger person, emotionally, characteristically, charismatically, finding out what you're made of and bringing that to the world.
oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Now, there's a Facebook page they can find information on here.
Absolutely. You can go to awarenessstrategies.com. It's a great question. I don't even know if they have set up a business ownership mindset page for it yet. I'm going to have to get my people on. I don't think we have, actually. So Awareness Strategies or Michelle Nedelec speaker. They can go to that as well.
Perfect. And then they can go to Amazon as well. So,
and I'm sure you'll have a ton of links set up as well. So that's probably the best place for them to go.
Yeah, I'll post a whole bunch about it. So, and the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and thanks again for your time, was, as you know, I'm a massive fan of yours, and I'm absolutely a massive, massive fan of Success Therapy. And you're the founder and creator. And the reason I want to talk about it tonight was this changed my life. I used to, as you know, have grand mal epilepsy, and I had a lot of head trash around having the epilepsy and getting a clean bill of health. And there's a whole bunch of stuff happening there. So when I met you and I found out about Success Therapy, of course, as a lot of people know, I kind of begged you to hire me. So I worked for you and I studied Success Therapy, and I absolutely love it. This process can help thousands and thousands of people, and it has already. You've received awards for your work and everything else. And I really, really feel that everybody out there should be looking into Success Therapy, because we all have head trash, regardless if it's our personal, our business, whatever else. But it's a phenomenal process. And I wanted you just to talk a little bit about it, because you are the creator and founder. And it changed my life. It was like going from black to white. So if you could talk a little bit about Success Therapy, I'm going to share it with people in my coaching business, because I'm going to start coaching women with epilepsy. I really want to share that with them because I think it can make a huge difference. So over to you.
Nice. Nice. Well, in particular, what success therapy can do for people with epilepsy, I think we want to back up the bus a little bit and discuss kind of what epilepsy is. Because a lot of people think that it's solely a physical condition that is solely triggered by physical events, even though they don't necessarily understand what those physical events are. A lot of people, think that it has to be controlled either by medication, which of course a lot of people aren't being controlled. It itself is not, the symptoms aren't changing even though they're taking medication, and they don't really understand the randomness of it. And I'm not by any stretch of anyone's imagination telling you that it's all in your head. That is a misnomer that a lot of people they try to summarize what I've said and they just go, oh, it's all in your head. That is not true at all. That is not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that there is, if you look at the chemical reactions that are going on in your head, before those chemical reactions happen, we have a thought process that takes place that creates those chemical reactions. So if you think about it, even if you just look at kind of the easy ones to deal with, if you will. So when somebody's happy and they're triggering happiness, it's not necessarily just because we're having an external environmental situation and then we react to it in such a way and then we create the endorphins that create that chemical effect that make us happy, and then our heart rate can relax, or it can palpitate because we're excited and we're in love, or whatever the case might be. If you look at kind of that simplified version of it, that exact same process happens when we get into any situation and those events are triggered. The extent to which a situation will affect our mindset and how we react to it is based on all of the previous thoughts, feelings, and actions that we've ever gone through before that have created a belief system within us. And I totally get that, even kind of if you want to argue from the point of conception on, as our stem cells are growing and they're turning into brain cells, that there are patterns that are being created in there that clearly aren't our choice, but they are patterns of perception that are kind of carried forth with us throughout our entire lives. Now, the argument can be made, can we change those perceptions or not? Are they permanent? Are they just, it's the way it is, I'm stuck with them? And that was the way we perceived thought to be, or the way we perceived our brains to be, very much in the 70s and before that. It was, this is my brain, this is the way it is, and this is the way it functions, and there's nothing else going on with it. We know for a matter of fact now, it's not even up for theory, that as we go through certain events, we change the way our brain perceives situations. And two people can go through the exact same situation and one will react differently than the other one, even if they're identical twins, even if they've had the exact same physical building blocks put into place from the point of conception forward. We can still change the way we deal with things that we think are, well, that's just the way it is. It's in our DNA. It's the way it has to be. That's not true, and we know that. So what success therapy does is it works with that premise to be able to put you back in control of how we react to certain situations and how our body reacts to certain triggers. The issue is, and I get it, that consciously we don't have a clue what those triggers are, what those events are, but the story is held within our cells, whether it's in our brain cells, in our body cells, in whatever. We have that capacity within us, and it's just a matter of being able to tap into that and change the way that our body deals with those triggers, if that makes any sense. And I know it starts to sound a little kind of crazy, but there's a ton of research that people can do on neuroscience. There's a ton of research that people can do on biochemical studies that are being done on how chemistry affects the brains and brain cells and how it affects the what do I want to say, the severity with which a reaction happens. So some people, when they get triggered by something, they'll go, oh, that happened. Some people, it will be extreme. Some people have allergic reactions. Some people will get epileptic reactions to it. Some people will get even more severe reactions than that. Not to say that a grand mal isn't a severe reaction, but something like cancer, we would all agree, is an even more severe reaction to something. And with the chemicals that our body produces, we can create that final effect, if you will. So in going through the process, we can start to break down those triggers and react in a more mild way, if you will, and in an ideal world, eventually get rid of those triggers altogether.
Wow. Well, you know what, I know from the conversations that we've had and the work I've done with you and other therapists on your team that we found out some really interesting stuff, and I won't discuss it here, but we found patterns in me from beginning to end around the epilepsy. And yeah, there was a lot of head trash. It was interesting to find out right around the time, like I say, it started and when it ended. And that really caused me to look at my life and my thinking and my thoughts around it. And you know, just once again, for me, success therapy was like a life-changing thing for me, because I went, oh, I never even thought of that. And we dug deep into some history and went, oh my gosh, this all makes sense to me now. And it kind of did before, but it really didn't. So as part of my launching, helping women with epilepsy and coaching with them, I'm really going to talk to them about success therapy, because I just think the process is so important. And you created and founded this, and oh my gosh, and I wanted to bring up one more thing about what you'd done in the past, was that you got an award from Queen Elizabeth II for your work with people with PTSD, right? And made
Correct.
huge changes in their lives. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because PTSD seems to be so huge these days, and you've just done phenomenal work with people around that too.
Well, thank you. And yes, it's yes, I want to answer that, and I want to make sure that when people are listening to this, that they're not necessarily correlating the two together, because kind of exacerbating the issues of the epilepsy and PTSD, the origins can be completely different, and the way it transpires can be completely different. So we're not saying that one is the other, or that they're necessarily attached to the two. But before we get into that, and I will go into that for sure, I just do want to mention that a lot of people, I want to make sure that they understand that you don't need to understand how success therapy works in order for it to work. I'm happy to explain it in its entirety, and I can be here, as you know, for months talking about the hows of why it works. And I don't want to go into that because it's not really necessary, but I do want to mention that even if people are looking at, well, I don't understand, if epilepsy is a physical condition, why does doing any internal work help at all? Like, to them, it might not make sense to them at all. And I can fully appreciate that. But if you only look at it as if it is just a completely physical reaction that's going on, what can happen is that we can exacerbate the negative reactions to something and make it worse because we're afraid of it, or because we're scared of it, or because we don't understand it, or whatever that might be. And if all you do is start doing the internal work, like working with Liz and doing the coaching and being able to kind of do that internal mindset work that needs to be done, you'll start to notice that the way that you react to something is completely different. So say hypothetically, just to kind of give you a complete left field example, is say somebody's really afraid of water and they're really afraid of drowning. The act of drowning is very real and very physical. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that when you stick your head underwater and you start inhaling water, that you're going to drown. So that in itself there's no denying that that is a physical situation that somebody could get themselves into. the question is, what happens when we start to notice our head going underwater? What happens? Do we start to panic? Do we give up? Do we buy into it? Do we, what's going on? And we all know that it's way easier for somebody that goes into panic mode to drown, because they are reacting in such a way that has a negative influence on the outcome of the situation. When somebody's calm and relaxed and they're not afraid of the water and they're understanding what's going on, even though the water might be tumultuous and there's waves and there's something cataclysmic going on, if they have calm reactions in water, they have a much higher chance of survival than the one that goes into panic mode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even if all you do is look at it from, okay, how do I get rid of whatever aspect of it is emotional? So maybe only 20% of it's emotional and the other 80% is physical. Great. Well, then get rid of the 20% anyways, and then start to notice, okay, is this really the physicality of what's going on, or is there maybe some other emotional stuff going on there? And if there is other emotional stuff, great, keep digging down. If there isn't and it's just purely physical, well then how can you create even more understanding and more compassion around what's going on for you in order to minimize the effects of what's happening? Because a lot of people will agree that even if all they did was kind of go from a grand mal into just an epileptic fit, seizure, whatever the politically correct term is right now, that it becomes more manageable. It becomes something that they can deal with, and it might just be that they don't like freaking people out around them. Okay, so how do you deal with that and just not freak people out around you and not feel bad about the fact that not everybody knows how to react when it happens, and that it's okay, or maybe that it's just okay to talk about in the first place, and that that there creates an understanding with the people around you. That alone would decrease the stress involved with that kind of situation immensely, let alone the actual physical circumstances of what's happening. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's awesome. Oh, I love that, right? It's, and I even know just in general life, if I start to feel a certain way, I just sort of almost do a little bit of self-talk around that to sort of change and alter maybe the stress or the anxiety or what's ever going on at the time. So yeah, I just think success therapy is amazing. It's just, I can't even put a word to it. It's just people have got to look into it. So I'll definitely post the link so they can take a look at that. So if people want to go to my website just to find out a little bit about what's going on with my coaching for women with epilepsy, go to www.awomaninmotion.com or liznichols.com, and I'll certainly post those. And to find out more about Michelle, go to awarenessstrategies.com. And do you have another website?
No, but make sure that when you talk to us or you're looking at things, to let us know that Liz sent you. And you can even start on the phone and go, hey, I was watching the interview with Liz, and that's why I'm calling. And because we love to know where people are finding out about us. And we also want to bring credit back to you, Liz, and thank you for doing all the interviews and all the hard work that you do to make sure that people hear about it. Because it is hugely important. And sometimes I forget how important it is to other people because I'm just going, I've done the work and I'm going, la-di-da, life is great now. I get to go and do my thing. And we forget. So I don't want anybody to forget. And I appreciate that you bring it to their attention and that they know that the resources are available, because I've dealt with people that go, I've been working with people for 20 years and nothing happened. And then they come and work with us for a couple of weeks and it's day and night. So yes, I hope absolutely take action. Go and check out successtherapy.com, or sorry, no, successtherapy.ca, and or awarenessstrategies.com. And awarenessstrategies.com has moved to more of a business platform and business automation side of things, but we do still do coaching, especially with executives. The successtherapy.ca site is definitely the place to go to get more information. And if you want your specific questions answered, absolutely, please book a consultation with me. I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. Absolutely no strings attached. You're not obligated to anything. I'm just happy to answer all your questions. And if we're a fit, we're a fit. And if we're not, that's totally cool too. I can give you a bunch of other resources that might be more accessible for you or more appropriate.
Well, you know what? Actually, you just mentioned awareness strategy. Do you want to talk a couple minutes about what that is and what it offers, so we can share the word on that too, if you like?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're working with coaches, entrepreneurs, authors, things like that. We work with business automation and helping businesses strategize their growth. So being able to understand not only from a mindset what they want to do to be able to create it, but also from a goal setting point of view or a strategy point of view, being able to help them reverse engineer their plans and help them to automate their business. So their entire client experience from lead generation to fulfillment, how do we help automate redundant tasks? How do we help to create a branding that makes you as strong and powerful, or gives off the image that you want to have, and to be able to have the background IT in place to be able to make that all work? Because I know from my experience, having an IT team was night and day. Me going at it alone, struggling, banging my head against the wall was ridiculous. And as soon as we got all of the IT in place, it was just way more smooth sailing. And God knows I did not do the IT for it, but I got the resources available. So now we provide those resources to people, because I know what it's like trying to do some research and development to try and find the right stuff. So we eliminate all of those issues for you too, and just help you to get to easy breezy.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for your time. I know you're super busy. And once again, I'd like to know if you'd like to continue doing a couple more interviews down the road on various different topics that we've talked about tonight, and maybe interview me at some point down the road about my experience having epilepsy in the past and with success therapy, and how, feel free to interview me and I'll tell everybody everything that anyway, I won't tell them everything.
Nice. I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And if people are listening to this, if they want to phone in or email in and give comments, absolutely, please do. Happy to answer all of those questions through a video if that's more comfortable for people. So email me, Michelle, Michelle, at successtherapy.ca, and I will absolutely answer all the questions that you have, and we'll do it through a video and interview Liz. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Well, listen, thanks again for your time. That was awesome. I really appreciate it, because I know you just flew in. So I'm getting you right off the plane. Sorry about that.
My pleasure.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Absolutely. You have a great one. Bye.
Okay, thank you. You too.